You know that cool bell sound that children of Bodom use, like at the beginning of Downfall? Yeah, that one. It's pretty iconic, you could say. And I've done a lot of obsessive work trying to track it down, trying to emulate it, and trying to understand it. And so I'm going to share my knowledge with you about this topic. It's called Jimmee D. No idea where that name comes from, but that's the name of the patch. I've got here a Roland JV 1010, which has the patches from the JV 1080 and 2080, and it's a much smaller unit and much cheaper than either of those. So 1080 and 2080 were both pretty big professional level romplers back in the 90s. Kind of at the end of that era, they shrunk it all down into a half rack size module, the 1010. I picked this one up used for $175, and my number one reason for getting it was this exact patch. There's a lot of other cool sounds on there, no doubt. It's fun to have, and I love the Roland synth rompler sounds from the 90s, but this was the number one because I just couldn't recreate any other way, and I just had to have it. I had to experience it. I tried on my friend's Integra 7, which is a much newer Roland unit. That's supposed to have all the sounds from the 1080 and 2080, and it does have this patch, but it doesn't sound quite the same. I guess the technology changed, and it sounds reminiscent, but just not quite there. So I think the 1010 is the best bet currently as far as getting this sound. There's also the plug-in version, a little bit cheaper for those who just want to plug in, but the hardware is not that expensive, and it's kind of nice to have the actual hardware. Plugins are not going to be 100% the same if you're obsessive and weird about this particular old bell patch. So it's called Jimmee D, and I have here this JV patch editor made by Leandro Clado, and this is a fan-made project that allows you to edit all the patches as well as kind of disassemble them for the JV series. At this point, he's done all of them: the 1010, the 1080, 2080, XP30, 50, 60, 80. So yeah, great work on that. It's a cool little plugin, and otherwise can't really edit patches on it. So what I wanted to do today is just kind of break down this sound and give you some demonstrations, and you can hear what it sounds like. And if you want to recreate something similar, you can. I don't think there's an easy way to recreate exactly this sound. I've tried using other plugins, other synths. It's a little bit tricky to nail it down perfectly, but you might be able to get something similar, and I think this will help you if that's something you're interested in. So the JV series has 4 voices you can use. This is a rompler, so wavetable synthesis. So these are like samples or sample bits, kind of preset sounds that they combine in different ways. So we've got Butyl Hit, which I assume is like a bottle hit, maybe. Synthvox 2, Soft Pad A, and Spectrum, which is a noise. So let's just listen to each of these on their own, and I'm also going to turn off the effects so you can hear. This is just the bottle hit sound. We're also going to look at the pitch of these. So this one is set to just its normal pitch. And you can hear on these romplers when you go way higher or lower on the keyboard, especially lower, how the sample sounds kind of funny. It sounds pretty normal at its normal pitch, and then you go way down, it gets stretched out, and it gets this kind of artificial sound. I'm not sure where the setting is, but you can hear also that the pan follows the pitch. So that should be on the left side of your speakers. And that's on the right. So as you move up the keyboard from left to right, you also get a panning effect if you want to recreate that. So that's our bottle hit without any effects. I'll turn the effects on real quick so you can hear that. Trying to recreate this patch from a single sample, I've also attempted before, and it doesn't work really that well because we've got these master effects and the time-based effects like chorus, reverb. If you take one sample and you're pitch stretching it up or down the keyboard like you would with a sample, it just doesn't quite work. The reverb, the chorus, they get stretched and repitched with everything else. So you'd really want a dry sample of the entire patch, which would sound like this. And you can hold that indefinitely with the effects. So we have this master, chorus, reverb, and extra effects, which is the hexachorus in this case. And you can see all the settings here for what they are. The next sound on its own after the bottle is the synth vocals, Synth Vox 2. Here it is with the effects. And interestingly, at the very top of the keyboard, it kind of doesn't follow the pitch anymore. Let's try that without the effects. And you can also see the levels of how these are blended. So let's play just dry the bottle and the synth vocals. Okay, so we've got the attack, we've got some of the airy breathiness, then we've got this soft pad A. And that's without the master effects on, that's just kind of its natural phasiness. Kind of sounds like a 80s analog type synth. I think you could get something similar easily, maybe with a Oberheim. And lastly, we have this spectrum, which is just kind of a noise layer, and it contributes to that breathiness that the pad has. It seems like it actually resets like every octave. So it kind of follows the pitch, but kind of not. So that's just blended in to give it some extra flavor. So let's combine these one at a time. can also look at the pitch here. Tone 1 is going to be our bottle hit, so that's at a normal pitch. Tone 2 is our synth evokes, and that is up 3 octaves. Tone 3 is our soft pad, that's pitched down an octave. Tone 4 is the spectrum, which is pitched up an octave. That one also only has a key follow pitch of plus 20, which I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I think that has something to do with the fact that it doesn't really follow the keyboard chromatically because it's a noise layer. And you can see with these levels here, these faders, how it's mixed in. The predominant ones are the soft pad and the bottle hit, and the breath noises are mixed in lower. So let's try just with the pad and the bottle hit. So that on its own works pretty well, and I think that evokes the same general feeling, but this extra breathy layer really does just tie it together, make it that much wetter and nicer. I think the breathiness and the synth vocals kind of just gives it that little bit mystical sound. I like the 90s rompler vocal sounds, fake vocal stuff. Just kind of reminds me of old games and like digital choir. And there's something, digital and mystical about it. Anytime black metal bands throw in some cheesy synth vocal choirs, I think it's epic. So I like to do that too. So that's an important part of this sound, I think, even though definitely the attacky belly stuff is what comes through the mix predominantly. But it's quite an awesome pad. I haven't found anything like it exactly on any other unit. I've got my Korg Trinity here. I've got a Yamaha Tone Generator TG33, and those are both cool units from around the same era. And the Korg also has some similar kind of patches, but I've looked through every bell patch trying to find something like this, and I just haven't found something that quite hits the spot like the Jimmee D patch does. So if you like it, I encourage you to try to recreate it or go buy a JV unit. The original 1080 and 2080 are fairly expensive. I mean, they're not crazy, but you're looking at probably $500-$600. And the 1010, yeah, I think I picked this up around $175. You could probably find something for in that price range, maybe a little more. That's one option. There's also the Roland JV plugin version, which I haven't tried. I don't have, but I think it does a pretty convincing job. I mean, you can see some comparisons on YouTube. It's pretty close. It's maybe not 100% the same, but it's certainly going to get you 90 to 95% of the way there. That is the Jimmee D patch. And of course, there's lots of different sounds that Jana Veerman uses. But to me, this is certainly the most iconic of the Children of Bodom sounds. And you need that cheesy 90s bell patch. It's just really, it's crucial to their sound. And to me, I listened to a lot of Children of Bodom back when I was playing a lot of Unreal Tournament 2004 in high school. And so this sound reminds me of Unreal Tournament as well as Children of Bodom. But hey, that's just me. I'll play you a few more sounds that I know Yana uses because he said so in a video. Here are the marcato strings. I think this is main strings patch. Here's a harp patch. I'm not sure if he uses that organ, but I wrote it down as something cool. Kind of in that vein. I think there was somewhere where he used this Fantasia sound, but I'm not sure exactly where. That sounds familiar. Comment below if you know what songs that sound was used on. And of course, the orchestra hit. That's been all over the place. So that's what I have for you today. I hope this has been informative, and we'll keep the conversation going. If you have any other thoughts on this or want to see some other patches in this series, I enjoy this kind of archaeology. So as always, smash like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.